All the indexes pretty much trading together. With Apple's right there at the VWAP. Again, I'm short Baba with this week's puts and next week's puts. I took profits in Netflix. Call debit spread this morning, fortunately. It got up to 11.67. That's about where I took it off, I think. It hit my sell price. GLW, very troubling here right now. Hey, good morning. Good morning, everybody over there in YouTube land. Hey, Sam, good morning. Mutra, I'm not sure how I pronounce that, but good morning. Here comes Ruthie. There's Alfie. He's been out twice.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a nice day.
Yeah, it feels nice. He was up there. He found another little branch up there that he can pee on, so he's happy about that.
Good. Yeah, that's from our tree, the big one.
The one that I dragged out front?
Yeah.
Tell me to get over there.
Down in the window.
Yeah, I don't think I could have brought it that far. Hey, how was your PP?
Oh, it's good.
You went shopping? Well, good for you.
Went to Aldi.
Aldi's.
It's right there.
I know it's right there. That's kind of nice. Did he give you more dry needling or not?
No, he did like some manual that he worked with my hips cookies.
German cookies.
Yeah, they're like my favorite Christmas.
Celery. Woo-hoo.
Always so happy.
Asparagus. Woo-hoo. Spring mix. Spinach.
It's really nice out.
Huh?
It's really nice out.
Yeah, the sun's nice today. A couple of avocados.
Post office, I went to the bank.
Wow. Busy. Busy.
Well, there are things that needed to be done.
Went to the bank? Well, you
Yeah,
didn't check it?
I had that check.
I don't even know why I wrote that check.
Yeah, I don't either. Nobody's asked for it, so.
Did you talk to Allison?
Yeah. She called me. Like it when I was in the car.
Did you see your message?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Phone ran out of charge.
Yeah. Always something.
Oh, it was empty.
Plug the damn thing in. 94 applesauce.
That's right. That was one of the reasons I.
Cranberry sauce. Must be gonna have some turkey. Got another currency?
My work is cut it.
Tough day in the market today.
Oh, yeah?
Going down.
So pretty, huh?
Going down, yeah.
Tough day for the Republicans today.
Huh?
I say tough day for the Republicans today.
What?
You know, the Epstein
Oh, the Epstein thing, that's gonna
and
be
then also,
That's gonna drag on, too.
the special counsel, Halligan.
What? I haven't had time to look at any of that stuff today.
darling?
They had the cookies.
Huh?
They had the cookies.
Yep. Guess it was just a blip that day.
Maybe.
I'm hungry. Yeah, just put them wherever, and I'm going to sit down and work on that.
Can't wait to. You could probably come up with
Yeah, oh, please do. Sweet. This out until I'm ready to tackle it.
What?
I said I'll leave that out until I'm ready, the other stuff until I'm ready to tackle it.
All right, I get back to the room. Hey, buddy. All right. Back. Had to step away for a minute. Whoops. Okay. Had to turn my mic back on. Had to step away for a minute. Had to come back quickly. Hello, Elias. How come you shut down YouTube midday? I didn't. YouTube's not shut down. I started at 11:30. I do it 11:30 to 12:30, Elias. On YouTube. Is that what it is? It's not shut down now. It doesn't look like it. You talking about why do I turn it off during the day? What is the YouTube? It's rightlinetrading.com. They have Rightline Trading YouTube feed. You can find it online. But you're in my room. You don't need to be on YouTube. YouTube is just seeing what we're doing in the room just for for a little while. I run it each day for about an hour just to introduce people to what we do here in the room, how our strategies work, how successful we are, and what the SPY super system is like. And that's why I run that. It's just a way of introducing people to the room and to the service. Obviously I don't want to give everything I do for free, but that's why the room is, you subscribe to it and you get I try to share my knowledge and my expertise and my picks and everything with everybody in the room, as well as educate folks on technical analysis and how to use the SPY super system, etc. All of those things. So I think for what I do, which is basically a broadcast all day long, answering questions all day long, I think for what I do, there's a huge amount of value in this room. I think way more value here than any other rooms that I've ever seen. So I'll leave it at that. Did I enter my put on the SPY minute chart right after it bounced close to the EMA? I did it on the 5-minute chart where I told you about the closest I could tell. I took it at 11:04. This is the 11 o'clock to 11:05 candle, so it was somewhere in there, close to the 8 exponential moving average. I mean, that's where I took it, very close to the 8 exponential moving average. I don't run off minute charts, so I can't tell you exactly.
watching L8 lap for see a little volume downtick on L8 off that Kingston first headline.
All right, market coming back down again. We're in a bearish trending day here. Again, the SPY has got about 674 as the support on it now. So I'm not going to try to jump into it here short. Market internals are bluish, but don't pay too much attention to that. It's above the 20, so it's going up, so it turns blue that it's rising, but this is likely to switch right back to red again. Yeah, looking at the market internals right now, market internals are still coming down right with the market. Been coming down all day. Definitely a bearish trending day here. Bearish trending day. Bob, I'm trying to bounce a little bit here. Again, I got this week's and next week's. Watching Cisco just moving sideways here. Has not been able to get above the VWAP. I think the stocks like GLW, we're going to have to wait till the end of the day to see where it closes on the daily chart. Right now it's coming right down to the 50-day moving average. So that's kind of going to be a very critical level for GLW, this 50-day moving average. Lift is coming in a little bit. It's got to stay in the gap. It's still well inside the gap. SMR is breaking down below the 2410. It's down to 2379. I'm going to enter to see if I can find another short on SMR. Spread's still pretty wide here. Right, I'm going to do something odd here. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm not going to post it on SMR. I'm taking a strangle expiring tomorrow. It's trading at 2370. I took a 24 call and a 23.50 put. 24 call and a 23.50 put, expiring tomorrow in SMR. This is just a mitigation for the time spread, which is basically dead. This time spread is dead here. So I did buy instead of just buying puts on this thing. I'm actually going to buy a straddle, a strangle. 24 calls, 23.50 puts. All right, on SMR. And this seems really odd, okay, because it's bearish right now, but it's getting kind of extended, and I want to give. If it continues on down hard, I'll still make money on the strangle. I wouldn't make as much if I was taking straight puts, but the problem is the straight puts are they're too widely spread, and if this thing bounces, it could bounce back up to 26.79 pretty easily. So I took a strangle on SMR. I bought the 24 calls and the 23.50 puts. I paid $1.26 for it. $1.26. Right, this is a little unusual. This is not what I would normally do on something like this, but I think there's a chance that it's going to bounce as well because it's getting so extended. And these nuclears can be extremely volatile too. So that's what I did with it. All right, again, so I did a strangle on SMR. I bought the 24 calls and the 23.50 puts for $1.26. Do I exit Sophie from earlier this week? I did. We took profits on Sophie this morning. I had a 75 sell order on Sophie, remember? I had $75 to buy back this week's puts and sell the December puts. Basically, we put the trade on for about $49. We took it off for 75 in like 3 days. So that was a good trade, and it's closed out right now. I may put it back on again, but right now I don't know. It's a little weak today. It's down below the 8 and the 15, so I'm not really likely to put it on today. I'll wait to see what it looks like tomorrow. But we're out of that one. How would I size the SMR Strangler relative to the size of the actual time spread? Yeah, that's a good question. I think that on a situation like this, we're going to lose all. The time spread is going to go to zero. So we're not going to make any money on the time spread on SMR, right? So, and it was $83, which was quite expensive. I thought that was pretty expensive anyway for that. For that, so we're going to lose that $83. I don't know how many time spreads you took on that. This is about $1.26. I would take maybe half of the number of contracts you took because I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work honestly. So we are adding some risk to the overall trade, but I'm just trying to mitigate some of the losses on that. So if I can get a good move in it from $1.20 to $1.80, I'd be making about $60 a contract. That would offset a lot of the SMR. This week for SMR, yeah, this times the strangle is expiring tomorrow. Yep, SMR strangling expires tomorrow. Get out of Cisco for 20 cents. Temp that wasn't stupid. It wasn't, Doug. That's fine. It wasn't stupid. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen today on Cisco. It's still trading at 77. It's moving very, very sideways. Very, very sideways. So it may vary right here between 17 cents and 22 cents, but it's not going to change a lot. So I don't blame you for getting out of there. That's fine. Expiration 11/14. Yeah, 11/14 on the SMR. Managed to get in the SMR strangle for $1.20. Sacklin, very good. Cisco trading for still around 20. I don't think it's going to vary much as long as it just keeps going sideways like this. See, the SPY is had this little flush down, but again, 674 is a support level, so I can't take it short here. BABA bounced up against me a little bit. SMI going right now for about I actually paid $1.17 for it. I just looked at here at my average price. I put an order in to take it at 126 and I get filled at 117 on SMR 117. It's still trading at around 117 right now. If Cisco was strangle, you would enter heading up and down on the time spread. Cisco is strangle? No. I wouldn't, you know, this is the, let me talk about strangles for a minute. All right, let's talk about strangles on Cisco. One of the things I don't want to take a strangle on, even though this thing moved up a lot today, right? It's got big volume and it moved up a lot. This kind of price action right here for strangle is not what you want to see. Okay, because straddles and strangles, you're gonna bleed time out of both the call and the put if the stock's moving sideways like that. You need to have a move. So when you see price action like this, think this is not straddle or strangle territory here. Oh, you mean SMR? Is a high conviction strangle or not an SMR? It's well, let me show you the specs on it. All right, let's take a look at the specs on SMR. All right, so here's SMR today. It's trading down, so that's fine. That's good. That's good for a straddle or a strangle, right? It's got decent volume, not huge volume, but it's got decent volume. It's probably going to be above average by the end of the day. All right, so then what am I looking at? Well, I get in the 24 and the calls and the 23.50 puts for about $1.17. What's the ATR in this thing? The ATR is about 390. All right, this is a pretty big ATR, so this could have a fairly good sized move today or tomorrow. So based on that, I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, I think even if this wasn't a mitigating trade, which it's still a good straddle strangle. I mean, I wouldn't have taken it just on a whim. I mean, I had to have some basis to criteria basis to take it. It just happens to be one where they're in a time spread, and this would one way be a good way to mitigate the time spread. I mean, I think the thing, if it really moves, if it drops hard, it goes up really big, you can make more money than you lost on the strangle. I mean, on the time spread. It's just we don't know if that's going to happen or not. But we're not going to. The time spread is dead. Because it's that the calls are not going to work, and I couldn't take straight puts because they were too widespread and expensive. So I did what I think was the next best thing I could do to mitigate that trade, as well as put on a strangle that was that's a high probability type strangle. Okay, lots of questions here today. Thanks very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Hey, Doug. I got you laughing. Why is 674 a support level on the SPY? I'll show you. All right, here's a SPY daily chart. Again, these lines here, okay, I only talk about in the room. All right, I don't post anything on these on Reddit anywhere. I'm not sharing these generally with the trading community, but I do share them in here. This is a high volume support level right here, 673.95. All right, it went through this candle, but see it hit top his bottom of this candle, keep moving over here. You got several others right around that area. Here's another one here on a big candle, another one here, another one here, another one here. That is a high volume, and those are high volumes. That means when the high volume candles are created by institutions. If you've got high volume on individual candlesticks, the institutions are in there. All right, so 673.95 or basically 674 is the support on the SPY. And again, these high volume lines I don't discuss except here in the room because they're too good. They work too well. I don't know too many people using them, and I watch people taking trades, not in this room but in other rooms, and I watch them taking trades, and I see them taking a trade short right when the stock is sitting on a high volume support level, and I shake my head. Okay, does that make it clear, Doug, as to why 674 is a support on the SPY? And listen, it's not going to. Obviously, these things are never to the penny. You have to draw these things with a crayon, but it can be either side. 11:59, coming up on 12 o'clock here. You see, you're still in the Netflix trade, which is showing decent relative strength today. Am I correct in thinking the strategy benefits holding to tomorrow, as the short calls will keep moving towards zero? Let's see what. Are you in this? Were you in the same one I'm in? Because I closed that out this morning. All right, so here's Netflix. I took the 1165, 1170s. All right. My problem with this right now is this, and I said this yesterday when I get in. I took a risk because of the fact that it popped up into the gap, but I said there's going to be resistance right here around 1157, and sure enough, there is resistance at 1157. Now, yeah, the short call that you've got on this Netflix, the 11, like if you get 1170, it's going to deteriorate, but you're going to need a bounce here. You're going to need a bounce at Netflix to make this work for you. Again, I'm out already. I took profits in it this morning on this little bit of a bounce. But I don't know what it's going to do here because this is resistance and it's holding up pretty well. So there's probably better than a 50% chance that Netflix is going to drop back down toward this yellow line right here. All right. Let's go into the daily chart. That's not on this chart, but this is where you want to see it get above that 1157 level. So I don't know. I mean, if you can get break even on it today, I think I'd take it off.
Once again, members,
Doug, the rest of you don't have access to the support levels I have. That's okay. It just makes us less educated on trade entry. I can't put those things on here. There's no way, because I draw them by hand. I draw these things on daily charts by hand. If I bring up the daily chart here and start drawing lines like I've got on TC2000, it's gonna look like spaghetti. So I draw on my TC2000 chart, but I tell you how I'm drawing them. You take a charting program like TC2000 or TradingView, and you can color code your candles based on the amount of volume. I've got my candles color coded based on 125% of normal and 150% of normal. Anything that's 125% of normal, I make the volume candles white. So then I can just go back to a daily chart and I can connect the tops and bottoms of candles that have high volume, and I just draw them horizontally. I just draw them horizontally from wherever those high volume candles are. That's all I do. But I have to do it by myself. Do I draw them when I only have multiple high volume candles? Not necessarily, Sean. Not necessarily. If I look at high volume candlesticks, I'll draw the top and I'll draw a line off the top and the bottom of them, because this is what they look like. Let's take the SPY for example. All right, this is if I draw this. If I take the SPY, this is what the chart looks like when I'm drawing high volume candles. All right. They stick out like sore thumbs here, all right? So that they're being drawn off of one candle. Now, it could obviously have multiple candles that touch it. If you look at the bottom of this candle, you see this here? See a high volume, high volume, high volume, all the way across there, all right? So that was a pretty sticky level right there. Obviously, you can see this is the thing with the 100% tariff on China right here. You see they come down and it pretty much held that level right there, right? But that's how I do those. And that's how I do them on Tesla, all the rest of these things. I get high, and Tesla's all over the place. But notice all of the Tesla activity in the last 2 weeks. There is no high volume candles, right? This high volume candle. See how this one day came right down to here? That's not a high volume candle, but that's a support level right there on Tesla, right? It was a support level on Tesla. And I can go back and there's a lot of lines on Tesla. And I have to take some subjective on some of these. I'm going to be some subjective on some of these because you have to make a judgment on which ones are most important. Because a lot of times you can get a bunch of them all together and it's just a big cluster. But anyway, that's how I do it. You see, you're leaning on the overall bullish trend despite today's move. Yeah, I understand that on Netflix, but you've got to be aware of that gap. I mean, I've talked about this a few times. I'm not sure if you know what I mean. When a stock gaps down like this, all right, there's people that took it here, right? They took it long here, and then they get pounded, all right? They get pounded. Now, what do you think most of these traders that see this big volume? What do you think most of these people did when the stock got back up to the level that they got in at, right? I'm down money. Oh, I'm even. Let me get out. This is where you get a bunch of selling, as the people come in here and try to basically break even on the trade. They don't look and say, oh, this is bullish, I should stay in the trade. No, they look at their P&L and say, oh my God, I'm breaking even on this trade I've been down so much money on, I'm going to sell it. And they start to sell it there. If you look at the volume here yesterday, you see that? Right at that level. So both the entry and the exits from gaps are support and resistance levels, and they're pretty effective. Doug, I don't know so my 90% success rate with the SPY super system is not just the Compass system purchase, but includes additional charts I have. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been doing trading for a long time before the Compass was even invented. But the Compass added win rates to me. But I'm doing technical analysis, and I have to use my TC2000 chart for my daily chart to do that. All right? But I see a lot of the same stuff on here. And I don't know why I take it and why I don't take it is based on trend. What percentage win rate would it have if I took TC2000 away? I don't have any idea. It would still be good. I mean, before I had the Compass, I was doing very well. The Compass added quite a bit to my trade. But I can't do TC2000 in these on one chart. I can't do it. I have to have TC2000 to do my longer term technical analysis. But what this does here, most of the time, I'm not looking. If I'm looking at a resistance level, I'm looking at it on my TC2000, like why I didn't take the SPY again when it started to drop down today, because I knew there was support on the TC2000 chart. So yeah, that impacts if I take the trade. But of course, when I take the trades, I tell you that. I show you those. You know, you can get TC2000 and put them on there and draw them yourself. I mean, I think anybody who is a professional trader, you got to have the SPY super system, and you got to have a charting program that you can use for technical analysis, for a little bit deeper technical analysis. Doug, if you think that, I mean, you suspect others bought the 90% base on the Compass system. That may explain why your number is 96. You think it's a bit misleading. Listen, if you think that, I'm sorry if you think that. The SPY super system is gonna if you follow it and you can overcome your own emotions, you're gonna have a good success rate. Maybe not 90, but probably 80, 82, 85, whatever. The point is, I'm not trying to mislead anybody. Everybody who's in the room sees what I'm doing for technical analysis. They see that I'm showing you TC2000 all the time. I'm showing you what other indicators I'm using to make determinations of the very high probability trade. This will tell you high probability trade setups just based on your indicators here, and if the institutions are in there. Because if institutions are in there, that gives you a huge edge up over everybody else. But I'm certainly not trying to mislead anybody. I've been trading for 16 and a half years. Am I likely to have a higher win rate than you will if you were trading off the same stuff? Yes, I will. Bob, yeah, the candle and candid colors, if you get TC2000, you can change those colors for high volume. I'm trying to help people become consistently profitable. Is everybody going to get 90% win rate? No, it's very difficult. A lot of months I don't do 90% win rate. But it's over periods of time, 85 to 90% is what my win rate is. And that's all I say. I'm not saying I'm only getting that because of this, but this is a main component of it. You know, I don't really, I just, you know, I'm trying to help people become successful traders. I'm not trying to mislead anybody. People in the room are making money. That's what they're there for. That's what they're paying for, to learn and to try to be consistently profitable. And I'm giving you all the information that I have, that I use to make these trades. I don't share these high volume lines anywhere else. Most of these strategies I've got, I don't share anywhere else. I share them here. The time spread strategies, the weekly ATM strategies, you're getting from me, and they work. And would you know about them if I didn't share them with you? Probably not. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm not trying to mislead anybody about trying to have a 90% win rate. I'm telling you what I do with this system and how I use it. And this is, without this, I wouldn't have a 90% win rate. It's simple as that. And without TC2000, I probably wouldn't either. But I could still be profitable just trading off of this. And I know there's a bunch of people in the room that are trading off of SPY Super System here that are doing better than I am trading this thing. So I'll leave it at that. You were under the impression that all the statistics which I brought was based on the compass. But no, my statistics are based on the trades that we're taking. The trades I'm taking are based on more than just the compass. They're also based on other technical analysis. And I've always said that it's the trades we take. I think I've been pretty clear about what I'm doing for technical analysis here. I got Bob. I appreciate that. He said he's been quite a few rooms. Most don't teach what they trade, so thanks, and you do a good job. You know, I don't really try to defend anything. I don't need to defend anything, but I just, you know, if people think they're being misled or something by the room, it frustrates me and it disappoints me, because I try to be as transparent as possible in any of these things. And if anybody tries to say that I'm trying to hide something or I'm misleading them, I take offense at it, of course, because I bend over backwards to try to be conservative about the results that we have. That's right, and everybody is responsible for their own trades. Okay, if you're in the room and you don't think what I'm teaching you, and you don't think the SPY Super System is a help to your trading, then you don't have to be here. And I'm not trying to be snide about this. I'm just saying that. Okay, back to trading this crap that's happening today. This is a bearish trending day, by the way. But again, the SPY is very close to the 674 support level. You can see that it got right down there and got very, very close to it. Hey, Quinn, I appreciate that. Ram Kumar, yeah, trading is tough. It's trading. Listen, if it was easy, everybody would trade and everybody would make money. There's a reason why 90% of people who try to trade end up giving up or losing their money, and that's just the way it is. You're trying to overcome your own emotions, listen, everybody's looking for a holy grail. Here's the one thing that's always going to work for you. It doesn't work like that. There is no such thing. The market is very dynamic. Indicators work, and then sometimes they don't work. Strategies work, and then sometimes they don't work. That's trading. That's why it's so hard. And everybody wants you to give them here's the setup. I give you the SPY Super System setup. This is about as good as you're going to get with these indicators and with that video I put out on any kind of individual 5-minute trading platform, a trading program. All right? Is it 100%? No. Well, it'll never be 100%. And if you're looking for something that's going to be perfect, there isn't any. Yeah, Joe has a good point. You know, if you learn to trade one setup and get good at it, one strategy, one setup, get good at it. You know, if you're trading off a daily chart for a swing trade, a PBO or the bounce off of one support level, get good at those. You know, get good at that particular setup. The thing with the market is you have to have, for me, I have to have multiple strategies I can use because the market's dynamic, and some strategies will work when the market's choppy, some when it's bullish, some when it's bearish. There's a lot of different variations there. Okay, I'm not going to continue on talking about this stuff. I want to talk about trading and talking about becoming better traders. All right, it's about 12:15, and we get the market still just kind of drifting here. Still watching Cisco, which is still kind of moving sideways. Again, it's slightly above the VWAP here right now. Which is not, I don't want to see that. So I'm probably going to take these Ciscos off. See if I can get 20 cents for them. I will probably do that. All right, I closed my Cisco at 20 cents. And so I'm out of the Cisco trade for 20 cents. So I took a loss on that of 27 cents. I'm sorry, 7 cents. Doug Foster, I'm gonna smack him in the head. Doug Foster. Yeah, he's complaining, oh, so your 90% win rate isn't just with the compass system. You have to use TC2000. I said, yeah, I do technical analysis. Well, I don't think that's full disclosure. I was expecting to get a 90% win rate. And I said, well, you're never going to get a 90% win rate. I've been doing this 16 and a half years. I'm trying to get you so you're profitable. I said, there's no holy grail. I just wanted full disclosure. I don't think you're full. I said, listen, I teach here, I show you trades, I do everything I can to make it profitable. If you don't think it's working for you, please leave the room.
Yeah. Did he sign up? Or?
Yeah, he signed up. He's paid a couple times. Get out, get in, get out, get out. This is all the bitch is about. And you know, people are saying, everybody's typing in there, get rid of him, dump this guy.
If this were easy,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't be doing this.
Jesus Christ.
Really? Get a life.
That's what Shai says. Get this guy, get him out of here. He's always been like this. He buys a quarterly thing, then he complains, he leaves. And then he sees the winning, he looks at my webinar, he sees the winning, he comes back again. He wants a 90% win rate. This guy's not going to ever not have a 90% win rate. Ram Kumar. Ram Kumar, you try to get out 20, get out 18. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, that's it's got to be somewhere between 17, 20, 21 cents or something like that. It's still moving sideways. Unless we get a big drop in it today, we're not going to do any well. So do any better. So I'm just dumping the thing, get rid of it. The strangle on SMR, 23.50 put, 24 call. I'm not sure what it's trading at right now. It's trading at 20. Yeah, it's still that would still be the strikes. 24 call, 23.50 put, expiring tomorrow. Ari, what's the volume threshold they use to assign as a high volume candle? Is it a certain multiple of average volume? No, I take a look at the average volume. Let me see what I'm using. Average volume. How many days? I have to look. I can't remember. I think I'm using it the 10-day moving average, but I may be using the 50-day moving average on volume. And all I do is I look for 120%. In TC2000 I color code them. If it's 120% of the average volume, then I color them white so I can see them. And then I have another one for 150 just so I can find really, really high volume candlesticks. But most of them are just going to be 120% of average volume. And you don't really have to, you don't have to go back. 10 will work, 50 will work. They're all going to show up because the volume doesn't change all that much. The average volume doesn't change all that much over a 10 or 20 day period or even a 50-day period. It changes a little bit, but if you're looking back 50 days, you'd have to have some really weird candles to skew that very much. Because and listen, nothing's going to be perfect about these things. I mean, they're let me see if I can figure out what I'm using those in there. Sorry, I had my mic off, Harry. I have to go in and check what I use when I set this thing up. I can't remember if I used a 10-day moving average or a 50-day moving average on there. I've got 10 on my charts, but I have to look at the have to look at the volume candlesticks to see what I used. At 50-day moving average. 50-day moving average on the volume, Ari. Anything that's above 120% of the 50-day moving average is painted white. Yep, spy on the super system. Sorry, Shy. There it is. Pretty choppy here. SPY trying to bounce. The market's gotten pretty flat here right now. Still red, but pretty flat. Market internals been down all day long. There's been a few pops in there, but it's still, we're putting in lower highs and lower lows on the market internals as well, just like we are on the SPY. The market trying to put a little bit of a bottom in here. Here's the daily chart of the SPY. It went right to the support, almost exactly. 674.22. I had 673.95, about 30 cents difference. That's on the line, right in that high volume line, and it's bouncing up. Now you've got the 8 and the 15 here with resistance. Now no, the 8's still above the 15, so the overall market here is still bullish, but not by much. This is a very difficult trading environment right now. Very, very difficult. Is SPY going to go back down and test the 50 sometime? Well, I have no clue. It could easily, or it could break up to a new all-time high. I have no idea. This is a mess. This is a mess right here. Triple Qs, same thing. Went through this high volume support right here. Now it's trying to bounce back up to it again. Had this one down here, it's kind of right in the middle of it. IWM, again, another support level on IWM right there. Again, they don't always work, but they're pretty good. And there's a SPY trying to bounce. Momentum starting to come up. Market internal starting to curl up right here. It's done this a few times this morning, though. Again, I did close down the Cisco trade. I took a 7-cent loss on Cisco, which could have been a lot worse if it had stayed up like that. And listen, if Cisco pulls down today, those could go back up into the 20s. But I'm out at 20 cents, and I'm done with it. I took my Netflix put debit spread off this morning. Call debit spread that I had on from yesterday. A call debit spread on Netflix. I made about 40% about 25% on that on Netflix. I don't like the price action on it at all. I did short BABA for next week. I already have some BABA puts for this week, but it gapped way up this morning. Put those this week puts underwater, so I added some for next week to try to take advantage of that. GLW trading horribly today, down about 6%. Again, right at the 50-day moving average on GLW. This is what we watch very closely here. We got plenty of time on this, and you see it's done this kind of stuff before, but not all the way down to the 50. That's been a long time since it was down to the 50-day moving average. And we took off Sophie. We took a nice profit in Sophie. I'm not anxious to jump back into this right now with this candlestick. This is not a pretty candlestick here after earnings. But if it stables above it moves above the 8, starts to show some stabilization, I'll go ahead and do a weekly ATM on it again. The Gilead just broke its all-time high, Ari. Yep, looks like it. It's got a big pop here this morning. Yeah, I think the all-time high was put in today. Bitcoin's still weak today again. Bitcoin been taking some heat here lately. BMNR down again today about 5-6%. Coin right now down about almost 5%. Coin coming up on support, by the way. About $4 lower on coin. Again, watching SMR just chop around here. A little after 12:30 here. Again, about 10 minutes here, I'm going to get some lunch. Hey, Sacklin. Not sure if I answer in regard to the question. The question above. just confirming, was the SMR strangle? Yeah, 23.50 puts, $24 calls. Sacklin. That was the strangle that I put on SMR today, expiring tomorrow. Okay. 24 calls, 23.50 puts. I paid $1.17 for it. It's trading at 23.82 right now. Again, we need to see a move, and obviously it needs to move today or tomorrow. But it typically does move at $2 or $3. So it's about $3 actually. So we'll see what happens. I think it gives us the best opportunity to try to mitigate the time spread loss on SMR, and also, this thing can move. I mean, it can move a lot. So if you get a couple of dollar drop here, you'd be the strangle would be very good. And if it bounces a couple of dollars, you'd be very good. Your $1.20 or so that you paid for the thing could easily double easily. But it's got to move. Not 24.24. No, I didn't. The reason I took 24.50 Sacklin is if you look at the SMR, not SPY, but let's take a look at SMR. All right, it's trading at 23, so let's say 23.75, and the option chain has a 23.50 and it has a 24, so it's sitting right in the middle between the 23.50 and the 24. So I'm not going to take a 24 when it's trading at 18 cents under that, or 25 cents under that. I'm going to take, assume that I'm going to take one strike above, one strike below. They're equally distant from the 23.75. So the 24 is 25 cents above it. The 23.50 is 25 cents below it. That's where I want to be. I don't want to take one of those strikes because it's right in the middle of them. So I'm trying to find where I'm going to pay about the same amount for the puts and the calls. Okay? That's how it works. When you're doing a straddle, you can be, the stock needs to be right at a strike price. When you're doing a strangle, you want to be able to buy the puts and calls for roughly the same amount each. So you want that somewhere between the two strike prices. If you had a 25 and a 22.50, for example, you would take 22.50 and add $1.25 to it. So it'd be 23.75. If it was trading at 23.75, then you would buy one strike higher, one strike lower. If it was trading at 22.50 or 25, you would take the straddle right at that strike price. All right, let's see what's happening over here on YouTube. All right, I'm going to stop and get some lunch here, and get rid of the spam. I'm going to stop and get some lunch, and I'll be watching the market, but I'm going to get some lunch here. I'm going to go ahead and shut down YouTube. Let's close the phone down. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut down YouTube today. Listen, thanks everybody for being here today on YouTube. I appreciate it. Appreciate all of the interest, and also all the good questions out there. Appreciate that. It's great to see you here every day. And appreciate it. Again, you can join the room, or join the alert service, or buy the SPY system software to let you know what institutions are doing. And again, rightlinetrading.com. You can call. You can do it online. Call and talk to Rory if you want to talk to somebody directly about it. He's at 786-732-4656. There it is, right there. And again, see you guys tomorrow. Have a great afternoon. Trade well.